Hello, welcome back to my channel. As promised, this is a second video on the Craftsman bandsaws. These are the bandsaws that were made for Craftsman by the Atlas Press Company back in the 60s. Good old cast iron. And in the first video, I took one and kept it as a horizontal, and I mounted it underneath my welding bench. And I'm really happy how that turned out. It's mounted under here, under this table. It's on 300-pound drawer slides. As you can see in the front here, slides out really nice, really smooth. Rebuilt the hydraulic downfeed cylinder, and added two saws. Of course, I had two bases, so I took off this half nut, I call it, that holds this the vice rod. I took it off the other one, and I made a special clamp here so I could actually use it to hold that in place. It kept wanting to pop out, so as you can see right here, a finger is, here's the other top half, so I can just loosen up this right here and spin that off, and then put that down right on top of it. So I have two of those, and no popping out anymore. So really happy how this turned out. So the second saw, also on this, well, I guess I'll show you more on the second one, but on the second one, I turned it into a vertical bandsaw. And same cast iron saw, only turned it into a vertical. Found a motor. This is a half-horse 1725 RPM motor. It was not enclosed, so I made a cover for it just to keep chips and that come off the table, anything I blow off or brush off from falling into the motor. That was, like I said, that was a piece of pipe, galvanized pipe, furnace pipe, that I bent flat on and mounted that. I took these raw edges after I ground them and filed them, and I just finished them off with Gorilla Tape, nice heavy tape, and then I painted it afterwards to give it a nice, real smooth edge for safety purposes. The guard that goes over this whole unit was actually off of my old Delta bandsaw that I modified, so I couldn't use that anymore. I modified my old Delta bandsaw with some different drive wheels. So I'm glad I had saved that. Totally encloses that belt there. And so that turned out really well. The top plate is a repurposed piece of 1/4 inch metal. That's why it already has some holes in it. Just took that and polished it really well with a sander. I used the original pins that come off the saw here, and they're the same pins. If you look over on the saw here, on my horizontal ones, and these are the mounting pins. It's hard to see them, but they're the mounting pins that go and hold it down here, the saw, onto this cast iron base. And they're like 5/8 inch shafts. One's there, and one of them is off that wheel right down in here. Right down in there. Let's see if I can get the camera in the right spot. Right down there. So I kept those on this saw, and then I made these sleeves. I machined a couple sleeves right here, and then welded that to this piece of 1/4 inch metal with an L shape on it, and those are just slotted so I can pop the whole thing off if I need to for working on it. Just some basic 1 inch square tubing, littler tubing here to reinforce the table. Keeps it really solid. I did add some deflector plates down in here. This plate here is mounted on with just one bolt. It's slotted so I don't have to take off the blade guide bolts. And I built that around the blade to keep as many chips as I can off the drive wheel and that little plastic gear down below. I also added this plate here too that's bolted on to this bracket back here. Just trying to keep that plastic drive gear down there as good as possible and from wearing out. It wears out the way it is. So yeah, so to change the blade, I just got to pull off these 4 bolts in front. Now on my saw, I did add one thing that I also have to pop off, but I had a problem with the blade tracking staying on the drive wheel. So on the collar that holds the drive wheel, as you can see, I also changed out the rubbers for the on the wheels where the blades ride on. I did change those out too. You can get those off of eBay. Just warm them up with water, they pop right on. But as I was saying, on the end of this drive wheel, where this cap goes on to hold it on, I welded on a rod. You can see that. I welded on a rod, and that rod, I'll give you another shot of it here, is mounted all the way down to my base. Okay, and what that does, even though I changed out the bushings in here, even if you just have a couple thousandths play, it lets that wheel kind of pull up as you tighten the blade. And just adding that, pulling those couple thousandths out, it's like a tracking device. I can hold this blade, the drive wheel. I can hold it in the right place. There's another shot. If I can shine down here for you, you can see that better. That's what it looks like down in there. That made all the difference right there. That was the difference between able to use this saw like it was and trying to come up with another plan. So that, just some little specialized parts I had to make. I was also missing a nut here, or this hold down for the blade guide. So I had to make one of these knurled. But otherwise, it kind of came together the way I wanted it to. Threw some paint on it and trying to see if there's anything else I missed. But that's how it turned out. Runs pretty quiet. And all the noise you're hearing is actually from that plastic gear running on the drive wheel down in there. But you don't have any vibration. It's just nice and rock solid. And I'm really happy with it. Like I said, there's another reason I added the cut pieces of rubber hose down here on the base. I put 2 in front and 2 in back just to help with any vibration. Also, it doesn't mark up my countertop where it's going to set. But overall, pretty happy with how this project turned out. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, and if you need any pictures, I'd be happy to email this to you. All right, thank you.